Hi and welcome to another Watch Geek video. Today we'll be taking a look at a Seiko SKX779, which is the first generation Black Monster. Although this watch was loaned to me for a review, I actually owned the orange version of this same watch for about 6 years before I sold it. So my experience with the Seiko Monster is much greater than the week I got to spend with this. The Monsters that originally came in black and orange were introduced in the early 2000s and slowly grew to become one of the most iconic Seiko divers ever. The reasons for that are several, but the thing that made everyone want one at least once in their lifetime is the legendary lume. The large application area on both markers and hands, in combination with an incredibly potent lume formula by Seiko, has made this watch a benchmark to which watches even today are still compared. You really have to see it to believe it. This watch was a game changer and an eye-opener for many. In the same way a Honda NSX showed the world a supercar doesn't have to be unreliable and overly expensive, this showed a great dive watch doesn't have to be overly expensive nor have radioactive material to be visible all night. Even though the incredible lume is what got people interested in it, as I remember even I did a lume test first as soon as I exited the store with one, the lume itself would not have been enough to make this watch as legendary as it is today. Even the fact the $200 price tag gave you an ISO certified diver's watch made completely in-house would not have been enough to make it legendary. It's actually the level of quality you got for your money. When you hold this thing in your hands, it gives this feeling of solidity, like it costs 20 times more. The bracelet is a work of art as well, with solid links and end links with very tight tolerances, making it incredibly comfortable and balancing the heavy watch perfectly. Even the clasp, although stamped, has a very secure push-button release with a safety latch, putting to shame some milled-out clasps out there. It even features a fixed diver's extension, although I personally never used it. Then the bezel action. Butter smooth and with 120 clicks, it just punches way above its price point. The cherry on top was the original design. In the sea of sub-clones and Submariner-inspired designs, this was something original, something new. It was a bold design that many will find ugly, but even those people cannot deny its originality. From the revolver-styled grooves in the case and bezel to the oversized markers and hands. This watch looked like nothing we have seen before, and just like all great designs, these details made it more functional. The unique hour and minute hand not only made it visible in the dark, but made confusing one for the other pretty much impossible. Not to mention, you got the bonus of seeing a rocket ship every time when these two would align. Then we come to the size and shape that made it wearable by pretty much everyone. Those who are into oversized watches liked it despite the 42.5mm diameter because of its presence. It is a loud watch, drawing attention and making it more noticeable than some 46mm watches. On the other hand, those who like smaller watches could also wear it because it has a pretty short lug-to-lug of only 47mm. So the size and shape of this watch somehow managed to make everyone happy. But what I personally like the most is the thickness, or should I say lack of it, as this watch is 12.5mm thick, with the actual watch without the case back being just 10.5. And the reason for this unexpected lack of thickness lies in the way the bezel is incorporated into the case. Unlike an SKX or some other divers watches out there, the bezel is not sitting on top of the case, but is rather cut into the case. This unique design not only makes for a slightly thinner watch, but also provides a shrouded protection for it, bringing some of the tuna DNA into the mix. I personally love the way they did it. The first generation is powered by the 7S26, a simple and reliable automatic movement that is as refined as a piece of farming equipment, but it works. The generations that followed are powered by the 4R movements, adding hacking and hand winding. while changing the marker's design to what looks like shark teeth. Some people like the new design better, but I personally like the original first generation more. And it seems I'm not alone in that, as the prices of these have been climbing over the last few years. Seiko tried to cash in on this rising popularity by releasing a slightly upmarket version that comes with a 6R15 movement and a Cyclops for the date. But I don't think it came to being nearly as popular as the regular cheaper versions were. I personally still love this watch, and a part of me regrets selling mine. It was unique, fun looking, and well built while not breaking the bank. It was everything we learned to like about Seiko divers, and even an occasional misalignment was easier to swallow at around $200. If I were ever to get one again, I would definitely go for the orange version, as that turns the fun factor to 11. Well, this completes this week's review, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found it useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and until the next video, bye.